Hi everybody, I'm Dave.
And I'm Brenda, and this is Molly.
Welcome back to our fireside chat. Tonight we're going to talk about the turnpike noise. The turnpike noise has been one of the biggest questions we get from people, just wanting to know how loud it is in the construction areas where the new homes are going up. Then we also have the real estate market update from the villages. They just sent this in the mail. Some really good information about pricing and just a lot of interesting statistics we're going to talk about. And then, what is the significance of November 6, 2003? It's an important date for all of us here in the villages, and we didn't even realize it. All that in a clip from our Critter Cam on tonight's Fireside Chat. Welcome back. It is 66 degrees out tonight. Beautiful night to have a fire out by the pool. So let's talk about the turnpike noise. Biggest question we get. I'm probably one of the worst ones to ask about turnpike noise. I used to live, before we had met, on a main thoroughfare back in the city I was at. I've always liked big roads and noise around me. So I don't know that I'm the best judge of it.
We're both at home with city noise.
Yeah, we lived in a suburban type city before coming here, so I don't really pay attention to noise. So we figured, how can we give you a correct answer when we don't really pay that much attention to it? So I figured a decibel meter. Now, I don't have anything fancy. I just use my phone, and we're going to go do some tests and kind of do some comparisons of what the decibel levels are at different areas. And then you can decide for yourselves there. I would highly recommend, this is just an iPhone I'm using. It's not any scientific device, that if that is a concern of yours about any home you're going to build or purchase, check that for yourself. Some people are more sensitive than others. I could be right beside a turnpike. It wouldn't bother me a bit. Some people, that's not the case. So check it out for yourself, and I'll try and give you the best answers I can with my iPhone. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take some measurements in several different locations. We'll start off with the turnpike noise right up against the turnpike. This is taken at a spot about 100 feet off the road. It's over near Everglades Recreation Center, off the multimodal path. That's the closest spot I could find. About 100 feet from the road, nothing in the way. I mean, I'm looking right at the traffic in that spot. So let's check what the decibel levels are there. All right, this reading is to be taken directly beside the Florida Turnpike. I'm behind the softball fields near the Everglades Recreation Complex. This will give you an idea what the sound is beside the turnpike. I'm guessing about 75 feet away from the road, right there at the multimodal path. All right, let's check this out. All right, so as you see, it's pretty noisy right there beside the turnpike. That might even bother me if I lived that close. And we got an average of 83.3 decibels, and it peaked at 93.9. I think that might be a little high. There was some wind blowing, I heard, on that one. So some of that may be a little bit of wind noise. But you can tell it's a pretty high decibel reading there. So let's go over to Hawkins, and we're going to check a little bit farther from the roadway, probably about 100 yards rather than 100 feet. and we're going to be outside of Hawkins up against Megason Road. So we won't be in the housing area. We'll be outside the housing area, outside of the wall for Hawkins.
On the golf cart path.
On the golf cart path right there. Yeah. And then after that, I'll come back and explain where we're going. But we're going to work our way farther from the road so you can kind of see what happens with the decibel level. All right, let's check that one out. All right, now I'm outside the entrance to the phase 2 of the village of Hawkins. I'm on the turnpike side of this wall. The turnpike will be over there. It's about 100 yards from the turnpike. All right, we'll take a reading here and then we'll take one on the other side of the wall. All right, you can see it's still pretty loud at that point. Decibel levels was 62.8 average and a 65.3 peak. Now remember, we were at 83.3 average and 93.9 peak right up against the roadway. So it's dropped down about 20 decibels just with that distance at 100 yards. Now, you're not going to have a home built right where we measured because we were on the golf cart path. But right over that wall is where the closest houses would be to the turnpike. They aren't built yet, but when a house gets built there, it'll be right on that other side of the sound barrier wall. So what would it be for the first house closest to the turnpike in its backyard? So we'll measure as if you were in the backyard of that house that hasn't been built yet. So let's check that out. All right, we're in the same roughly a little over 100 yards away from the turnpike, but we're on the other side of the wall now. So this would be as if you were in the backyard of a home that was built closest to the turnpike. So this will be the closest that any home would be to the turnpike here at the village of Hawkins. All right, let's get some readings. All right, so the closest house, this is probably the worst case scenario for a home that's being built in Hawkins. The worst it would be, going by my measurements, would be an average of 55.9 decibels. It peaked at 58.9, so it's pretty consistent. That's down a little bit from the other side of the wall, down from the mid-60s into the upper and mid-50s. So it's taken 5 to 10 decibels off with that wall. Now, my theory is that as those homes are built, every layer of homes, the farther you get off the road, it's going to be similar to having another wall there. So it's going to drop that noise off. But right now in Hawkins, there's no homes to measure that. So what we're going to do on the next spot is go deeper into Hawkins over towards where the little preserve is at. That's about 250 yards, I guess, from the turnpike. We were just at 100 yards. Now we go to 250 yards. There's still that wall, but I can see where the turnpike is from that location when we measure it. And remember, there's no homes built yet there. So homes will be built in between that will also work as a sound barrier over the next few months. All right, so let's check this out over near the preserve. All right, now we are in Hawkins. The phase 2 of Hawkins. We're deeper into the subdivision. Now, homes have not been built there yet. Now, those homes are going to start to block some of the sound. So there's an open area going over to the turnpike. I'm guessing we're about 250 yards away from the turnpike. And I'm at where the lots are that are have a view of the marsh. So let's see what the sound is like here from the turnpike. All right, in this deeper section into Hawkins, we came up with 53.2 decibels average and 58 peak. But if you noticed in that clip, a lot of that sound was birds chirping. I think that was really the decibels that we're hitting. So I think it's even less than that at that distance. Again, the bird chirping definitely wasn't overridden by the turnpike noise, but you could hear some turnpike in there when you're listening for it. Now, what do these decibels levels really mean? I'm going to jump over to what the sound is in our house, in our bathroom with nothing running. It's as quiet a spot as I could find.
Okay, that's a quiet spot.
So you can hear.
Now I know. A quiet spot in our house.
So you can hear see what the decibel level is in a room that's basically silent.
Yeah.
So let's check that. Didn't know I was doing that one.
No.
As you can see, in a completely silent room, it still records close to 30 decibels. What was it? 28.6 average, 32.1 peak decibels in a bathroom with nothing running, all the doors closed. I couldn't hear a thing. So I thought that was interesting. Now, I actually had this sheet that I pulled offline. There's lots of charts that can kind of tell you what decibel levels mean. And basically at 30 decibels, 30 decibel is what is in a recording studio. That's very
even quieter than our bathroom.
Yeah, so our bathroom is a recording studio. We may have to start filming in the bathroom.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
All right, so the turnpike, let's go with the top ones. Up at the turnpike, right beside the turnpike, it lists as a between a busy residential road and inside of a bus. That's on this chart. So let's see. Let's look at the houses that are deep in Hawkins, over near the preserve. The 53.2 it is between a quiet office and a living room with music or television playing quietly. So it's somewhere between that range. Remember, that was mostly birds you were hearing that. So it's not extremely loud there. Now, one thing I have learned in this is there is nowhere that is completely silent in this entire place of the villages. Remember, this is a suburban community, 140,000-ish people, something like that. So there's noise. We rode around to try and find, just to give you a basic what it would sound like in a neighborhood nowhere near any turnpike or anything. And there was a construction noise. Something would happen every time. Somebody would, wind chimes hit. Somebody turned on a lawnmower. I couldn't get a decibel level hardly anywhere. We rode around.
We were riding around.
We rode through Chitty Chatty, through Bradford, through St. Catherine, through, where else was over there? Anyway, we rode through several, probably for an hour or two, and I finally gave up. Every time the reading was coming in, some noise would hit.
Yeah.
But then I got here to the house, and I tried in front of our house. And it actually was quiet out there. Nobody started a lawnmower or anything. So this is what it is at our home. And I think this is typical of most neighborhoods. If there's nothing, no construction or anybody working in the neighborhood at the time. But realize your neighbors could be working on things, washing the car, doing something.
Yeah.
So I just was lucky to catch it. So let's hear what it's at in our front yard. All right, that was our front yard, and if you noticed, it was almost all bird sounds. Again, our house was 41 decibels on average, and 46.5 was the peak. So it's not a whole lot different than what was over at Hawkins, over by the preserve. It's going to be a little bit noisier there right now, but once the homes are built, I think it'll be better. I wish I could give you better information, but if you're asking for our opinion of noise for the Turnpike, it's just not, I'm not the best one to give you that. So I'm trying to give you some factual data to go with. So hopefully that was helpful. And, if you have any questions, shoot them to me in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them for you. All right. Now, part 2 we wanted to talk about tonight was our pricing update, or the real estate market update. We received one of these 3 months ago or so, and just got another one in the mail. It is the real estate market update that was sent to us. I guess it's sent to every villager.
That was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this one was. And then I got one I saved from 3 months ago that actually I was going to do a fireside chat on. Never got around to doing that. But I still had it put aside. Then the new one came. It's like, let's talk about it.
Yes.
Because this gives us the average prices of different things in different areas. So I'm going to give Brenda a little quiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I haven't read this. Oh, this should be interesting. I did not read it.
This is just for the third quarter. So this would be July, August, and September for those 3 months.
Oh, I feel pressure.
Yeah. What do you think the average price of a new home in the villages is? The average that was sold of a new home in those 3 months.
All right, thinking of the villas all the way through designers, average, I'm going to say low 400,000s.
That's lower than that. 381,000.
Oh.
Now that's still a pretty significant number. But it's actually lower than I thought it was going to be, because I think a lot of times when we go someone doing these open houses and things, everything should be $500,000 or more. And I think that's just because those don't sell quite as quick as when the villas and things that are in the 2s and 300s, they just sell quickly. So my mind was actually skewed to thinking it was higher also. But the average sales price of a new home was $381,000. How about a pre-owned home in the third quarter of this year? What do you think it would cost? The average?
I'm going to say about the same, in the 400s.
It's a little bit lower, or a little bit higher than the new homes. $394,000 for a pre-owned home is the average price for the third quarter. And again, it was $381,000 for a new home. Year to date, let's compare it. So that'll tell us whether prices are going up. The year to date average was $362,000 for a new home, and now it's up to $394,000. So it's gone up about $30,000 in the third quarter. Let's see that. Well, for the year to date, that average has moved that much. And for new homes, it went from $361,000 average up to $381,000 average. I thought this was very interesting. I knew homes sold quick. New homes in the villages in the third quarter, what's the average number of days that they were on the market?
Oh, I know that this has got to be fast, because I was talking to somebody. There was like a lot of people wanted just one house. So then when it went on the market, it was gone within minutes. I'd say a day.
Well, not quite that quick, but some of them are 12 days. A new home, average days on the market, 12 days.
That's still very short turnaround.
It is, being that the average for the year was 67 days. So it's down to 12. Things are moving so fast. All right, the third quarter for pre-owned homes was 16 days. So a little bit slower, but that's still extremely fast from the time you put your house on the market to it being sold. They have sold 5,040 homes to date this year in the villages. That's combined new and pre-owned. This breaks down into areas too. So I thought this was interesting. A Spanish Springs area, that's the northern section. And Spanish Springs for this is considered north of 466. Everything sold north of 466. The average sales price up there, what do you think the average sales price there is?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, $272,000.
Okay.
That's a little bit cheaper. Some of the homes are a little bit smaller too, and that would affect part of it. Average days on the market, 23 days.
Okay.
Manufactured homes. There's a few manufactured homes in the historic section. There's the only place of manufactured homes. The pre-owned manufactured homes averaged $177,000 for that period. Patio villas in Spanish Springs average 209,000. I'm going to run through these quick. So I quizzed you enough.
All right.
Cottages. I'm not exactly sure what the cottage is. I guess it's a type of village. Cottages, 252,000 average. This is Spanish Springs. Courtyard villas, 298,000 average in Spanish Springs. Designer homes, 350,000 average in Spanish Springs. And premier homes in Spanish Springs were 319,000. Lake Sumter area, that's between 466 and 466A. So everything between there is considered Lake Sumter for this statistics. Patio villas, 234,000 average. Cottages, 299,000 averages. Courtyard villas, 356,000. So that's significantly more than the courtyard villas in Spanish Springs. Designer homes, 462,000. That's compared to designers in Spanish Springs at 350. And premier homes. Now that area has some major premier homes.
Yes,
I mean, these are huge, very, very high-end homes. Premier homes, 1.2 million is the average for premier homes.
I can believe that.
In Lake Sumter. Some of those are on Lake Sumter. I mean, there's some really amazing homes. Brownwoods. We'll jump down to Brownwood. They're calling Brownwood everything south of 466A, all the way down here into the Finney area. And here we have new homes and pre-owned homes. So the average price of a pre-owned home sale is $454,000 is the average south of 466A. And the average of a new home south of 466A is $381,000. And days on the market for pre-owned and new are both pretty low, 11 for pre-owned, 12 days for new homes. That's just crazy how fast things are moving. Some of these numbers really do shock me. Let's see, Brownwood area. So people may want to know these. These are the average prices for new villas, patio villas averaging $230,000 in the Brownwood area. Cottages and cottage villas, $275,000 average. Courtyard villas are averaging $342,000, and designers and verandas homes are averaging $447,000 south of 466A. And real quickly, I'm going to look and compare what it was 3 months ago. So let's look just at the overall on. This is for the second quarter. Comparing to the third quarter. Second quarter would have been April, May, and June. So those 3 months as compared to July, August, September for the third quarter. All right. Average sales price for pre-owned homes in the second quarter was $362,000. It's up to $394,000 in the fourth quarter or third quarter. So that's about 10%, roughly, I guess, 10% in 1 quarter. Price went up. New homes, the average was $345,000 in the second quarter. Third quarter is $381,000. So again, another at least 10% or so there. Average days on market. This was an interesting change. In the second quarter, new homes were on the market for an average of 65 days. And again, as of the third quarter, it was down to 12 days. So there's just a huge demand, I guess, on sales of them. Third quarter, they sold 5,040 homes, new and used, and this is through the properties of the villages. There may be outside the MLS sales that's separate from this. These are ones that are sold through the villages. In the second quarter, they only sold 3,360. So it increased from 3,360 for those first 3 months to 5,040 in the next 3 months.
Wow.
So just really interesting stuff. If you have any questions on some of those numbers and want me to shoot them to you, just shoot us an email. I'll get you things. These are copyrighted, so I can't I can't just post this online. But the information, I can type that in the email if you're interested in it. So let us know and I'll shoot it to you. All right. Then got one other topic for the night, and that is, again, what is the significance of November 6, 2003? Well, I will answer that right after we take a quick look at a clip from our critter cam.
I love all animals.
I caught this. We had to show it. So
Yes.
let's check out the critter cam. All right, I just thought that was so cool. We just happened to catch this bird playing around in the water, and I was able to catch it on film as he's tossing his little fish around. So anyway, I thought it was neat. All right, so the significance of November 6th, 2003. Well, when we did our golf cart ride, our night golf cart ride that we posted a couple weeks ago, if you didn't
For the
watch,
Halloween.
going to the Halloween house. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. But somebody made a comment that they had, I think it said something to the effect of that they were out on the first night that you were allowed to do that, go out at night on the golf carts. Like, you couldn't go out at night. And so anyway, apparently the law in the state of Florida, which you can't drive after dusk, I guess. You can't drive a golf cart at night. But localities can override those with local ordinances. And apparently, prior to that date, here in the villages, you could not drive a golf cart after the sun went down.
I can't imagine.
So I went and researched it. Sure enough, I found an article on it. The new Sumter rule on golf carts takes effect today. And this was posted back November 6, 2003. Residents who sneak out in their golf carts in Sumter County after dark for a card game or before sunrise for an early tea time won't have to watch their backs anymore. It was legal. I had no idea that you couldn't go out back then. And that's not that long ago. I mean,
it's really not.
18, 20 years ago, it's, we had lights and things, but you can ride at night. You have to have certain things on your golf cart. You have to have headlights and brake lights, and there are certain reflector positions that have to be on there, or marker lights on the side. If you buy a golf cart from any store around here, they're going to already have that on there. So just keep everything in operating order and you'll be legal to be going out at night. But it was quite controversial. I'm not going to read this whole article, but I mean, there was some pushing that, this is a golf cart community and how important it is to be able to take your golf cart out at night. And basically, you had to be in at dusk.
Can you imagine?
You can walk through the square or take your car over there, but not everybody in the villages has a car. So I can't imagine. There's no golf carts around the square at night. That would just be odd. But there were a lot of people opposed to it, and they think this new law is going to be very, very dangerous, and not going to realize how dangerous until the first person gets killed doing that. That's what the opinion of some people.
Back in
2003, yeah. And they're saying it's just going to have people that are, let's see, they were concerned because a lot of people that drive golf carts don't have driver's licenses, and that there's no business for them to be out at night driving their carts. Unlicensed drivers. Well, it's very, very interesting. But don't worry, if you move to the villages, you can take your cart out all night long. If you want to drive around at 2 a.m, you can do that.
All night long.
All night long.
Yes.
All night long.
No curfew.
No curfew. If you were here back when they had that law in place and you were sneaking out like a teenager at night on your golf cart, give us the story down in the comments. I'd love to hear some of the stories of what people did back when it was illegal to take your golf cart out after dark. But we thought that was fun, and fill you in on it.
She's a good out again.
Molly's had enough. So I guess that means it is time to finish our fireside chat for the night. Thank you all for being here with us tonight.
Yes.
I think it was interesting information. So we'll try and find some new things that of interest in some of our future fireside chats. Now, if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. subscribe to our channel. And right over here in the left-hand side, somewhere down in here, let's see, on your screen, I guess it's on the right-hand side. My left, your right, somewhere over here, there's a button. Press on that button, and then you can subscribe to the channel. And also on the YouTube screen, there's a bell. If you click on the bell, it'll notify you the next time we explore the villages. See you next time.
Bye.